It began with a sound like thunder, low, distant, unnatural. At 8:01 a.m. on February 26, 1972, residents of Buffalo Creek Hollow heard a deep rumble echoing off the Appalachian hills. Some thought it was coal trucks, others thought it was a storm, but it wasn't. It was the failure of Dam Number 3. The makeshift coal slurry dam built from mining waste and rock had burst, and behind it surged 132 million gallons of black, chemical-laced water racing downhill like a wall of death. There was no siren, no phone call, no knock on the door, just a fast-moving wall that swallowed the valley. The flood roared down the narrow hollow at up to 30 miles per hour, sweeping away everything in its path. Homes, trucks, trees, entire families. The wave was 25 feet high in places, churning with debris and filled with the stink of coal and rot. Children screamed. Mothers ran barefoot through the mud. Some people had 10 seconds to react. Others had none. In the town of Saunders, a man looked up just in time to see his neighbor's house lifted from its foundation and shattered like a toy. One woman was dragged over a hillside and woke up buried under branches, her legs broken, her baby gone. In Amherstdale, residents stood in stunned silence as the black water carried away churches, porches, cars. They called it a river of death. When the surge finally slowed, the hollow was no longer a place. It was a wound. 125 were dead. Over 1,100 were injured. More than 4,000 left homeless. Children were orphaned, families erased, entire towns erased from the map, and it wasn't a surprise. Dam Number 3 hadn't been engineered. It had no concrete. It was just a pile of coal waste, built atop 2 other unpermitted, unstable dams. The Pittston Coal Company had known for years that the structure was leaking. State inspectors had called it weak. Locals had reported cracks and runoff. The company ignored them. The state ignored them. And the dam held until it didn't. Federal investigators later described it plainly. The dam had no technical stability. It wasn't just risky, it was reckless. And Pittston Coal had been warned again and again. In the days that followed, survivors dug through rubble with their bare hands, searching for bodies. The National Guard arrived to help, but many locals were left to grieve alone. Some stayed in tents. Others were crammed into FEMA trailers. The sound of helicopters, barking dogs, and bulldozers filled the silence where laughter used to live. And then came the press releases. The company called the flood an act of God. They denied liability. They said it wasn't their fault the dam broke. But the people of Buffalo Creek knew better. They called it what it was, corporate murder. In time, Pittston paid a $1 million fine to the state of West Virginia. A class action lawsuit awarded $13.5 million to the victims, amounting to less than $14,000 per life lost. No one was criminally charged. No executives were jailed. The system protected the system. But the people of the Hollow would never forget. A social worker assigned to the region coined a new term, disaster syndrome. It was PTSD before PTSD had a name. Survivors lived with survivor's guilt, flashbacks, depression. Children drew pictures of black waves and broken houses. Adults refused to sleep near rivers. They carried trauma into adulthood, and many would never speak of that day again. Buffalo Creek didn't just lose people. It lost trust. The scars still run through the soil, the trees, the silence between church bells. What was once a valley of miners and families is now a graveyard carved by negligence. This wasn't nature. It was man-made, profitable, preventable. Thank you for listening to Road to Ruins. Subscribe for more true stories where systems fail and people pay the price.